Good morning, spiritual companions. We are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Continuing chapter 10, Sri Ramakrishna at Siampukur. On page 460, Saturday, October 31st, 1885. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room with his devotees. He was talking to a Christian devotee named Misra. Misra was born in a Christian family in northwestern India and belonged to the Quaker sect. He was 35 years old. Though clad in European fashion, he wore the ochre cloth of a sannyasi under his foreign dress. 2 of his brothers had died on the day fixed for the marriage of one of them, and on that very day Misra had renounced the world. Misra, it is Rama alone who dwells in all beings. Sri Ramakrishna said to the younger Naren, within Misra's hearing, Rama is one, but he has 1,000 names. He who is called God by the Christians is addressed by the Hindus as Rama, Krishna, Ishvara, and other names. Misra, Jesus is not the son of Mary. He is God himself. To the devotees, now he, pointing to Sri Ramakrishna, appears as you see him. Again, he is God himself. You are not able to recognize him. I have seen him before, in visions, though I see him now directly with my eyes. Master, do you see visions? Misra, Sir, even when I lived at home, I used to see light. Then I had a vision of Jesus. How can I describe that beauty? How insignificant is the beauty of a woman compared with that beauty? After a while, Misra took off his trousers and showed the devotees the guera loincloth that he wore underneath. Presently, Sri Ramakrishna went out on the porch. Returning to the room, he said to the devotees, I saw him, meaning Misra, standing in a heroic posture. As he uttered these words, he went into samadhi. He stood facing the west. Regaining partial consciousness, he fixed his gaze on Misra and began to laugh. Still in an ecstatic mood, he shook hands with him and laughed again. Taking him by the hands, he said, You will get what you are seeking. Misra, with folded hands, Since that day I have surrendered to you my mind, soul, and body. Sri Ramakrishna was laughing, still in an ecstatic mood. Dr. Sarkar arrived. At the sight of him, Sri Ramakrishna went into samadhi. When his ecstasy abated a little, he said, First the bliss of divine inebriation, and then the bliss of Satchidananda, the cause of the cause. Doctor, yes. Master, I am not unconscious. The doctor realized that the master was inebriated with divine bliss. Therefore he said, No, you are quite conscious. Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, I drink no ordinary wine, but wine of everlasting bliss. As I repeat my mother Kali's name, it so intoxicates my mind that others take me to be drunk. As the doctor listened to the words, he too became almost ecstatic. Sri Ramakrishna again went into a deep spiritual mood and placed his foot on the doctor's lap. A few minutes later, he became conscious of the outer world and withdrew his foot. He said to the doctor, Ah, what a splendid thing you said the other day. We lie in the lap of God. To whom shall we speak about our illness, if not to him? If I must pray, I shall certainly pray to him. As Sri Ramakrishna said these words, his eyes filled with tears. Again, he went into ecstasy and said to the doctor, You are very pure. Otherwise I could not have put my foot on your lap. Continuing, he said, "He alone has peace, who has tasted the bliss of Rama. What is this world? What is there in it? What is there in money, wealth, honor, or creature comforts? O mind, know Rama. Whom else should you know?" Friday, November 6th, 1885. It was the day of the Kali Puja, the worship of the Divine Mother, Sri Ramakrishna's chosen ideal. About 9 o'clock in the morning, the Master, clad in a new cloth, stood in the south room on the second floor of his temporary residence at Siampukur. He had asked M to offer worship to the Divine Mother at Thanthania in the central part of Calcutta, with flowers, green coconut, sugar, and other sweets. After bathing in the Ganges, M had offered the worship and come barefoot to Siampukur. He had brought the prasad with him. Sri Ramakrishna took off his shoes and with great reverence ate a little of the prasad and placed a little on his head. Sri Ramakrishna was pacing the room with M. He had put on his slippers. In spite of his painful illness, his face beamed with joy. "Master, and this song is also very good. This world is a framework of illusion." M. "Yes, sir." Suddenly, Sri Ramakrishna gave a start. He put aside his slippers and stood still. He was in deep samadhi. It was the day of the Divine Mother's worship. Was that why he frequently went into samadhi? After a long while, he sighed and restrained his emotion as if with great difficulty. It was about 10 o'clock. Sri Ramakrishna was seated on his bed, leaning against the pillow. The devotees sat around him. Ram, Rakal, Niranjan, Kalipada, M, and many others were present. Sri Ramakrishna said to M, "It is the day of the Kali Puja. It is good to make some arrangements for the worship. Please speak to the devotees about it." M went to the drawing room and told the devotees what the Master had said. Kalipada and others busied themselves with the arrangements. It was the dark night of the new moon. At 7 o'clock, the devotees made arrangements for the worship of Kali in Sri Ramakrishna's room on the second floor. Flowers, sandal paste, vilwa leaves, red hibiscus, rice pudding, and various sweets and other articles of worship were placed in front of the Master. The devotees were sitting around him. There were present, among others, Sarat, Sashi, Ram, Garish, Chunilal, M, Rakal, Niranjan, and the younger Naren. Sri Ramakrishna asked a devotee to bring some incense. A few minutes later, he offered all the articles to the Divine Mother. M was seated close to him. Looking at M, he said to the devotees, "Meditate a little." The devotees closed their eyes. Presently, Girish offered a garland of flowers at Sri Ramakrishna's feet. M offered flowers and sandal paste. Rakal, M, and the other devotees followed him. Niranjan offered a flower at Sri Ramakrishna's feet, crying, "Brahmamayi, Brahmamayi," and prostrated himself before him, touching the Master's feet with his head. The devotees cried out, "Jai Ma, hail to the Mother." In a twinkling of an eye, Sri Ramakrishna went into deep samadhi. An amazing transformation took place in the Master before the very eyes of the devotees. His face shone with a heavenly light. His two hands were raised in the posture of granting boons and giving assurance to the devotees. It was the posture one sees in the images of the Divine Mother. His body was motionless. He had no consciousness of the outer world. He sat facing the north. Was the Divine Mother of the universe manifesting herself through his person? Speechless with wonder, the devotees looked intently at Sri Ramakrishna, who appeared to them to be the embodiment of the Divine Mother herself. The devotees began to sing hymns, one of them leading and the rest following in chorus. Gradually, Sri Ramakrishna came back to the consciousness of the outer world. He asked the devotees to sing, "O Mother Sirama, full of the waves of drunkenness divine." They sang the song. When this song was over, Sri Ramakrishna asked the devotees to sing, "Behold my mother playing with Shiva." The devotees sang that one too. Sri Ramakrishna tasted a little pudding to make the devotees happy, but immediately went into deep ecstasy. A few minutes later, the devotees prostrated themselves before the Master and went into the drawing room. There they enjoyed the prasad. It was 9 o'clock in the evening. Sri Ramakrishna sent word to the devotees, asking them to go to Surendra's house to participate in the worship of Kali. They arrived at Surendra's house on Simla Street and were received very cordially. Surendra conducted them to the drawing room on the second floor. The house was filled with a festive atmosphere, and a veritable mart of joy was created with the songs and music of the devotees. It was very late at night when they returned home after enjoying the sumptuous feast given by Surendra, the Master's beloved disciple. End of chapter. End of today's reading.